these pubs.
Behind me on the beach you can see lots of people, Mike can just pick out lots of people sunbathing still and enjoying the beautiful warm evening. It's been fairly blustery here throughout the day, but I have to say that's one thing to watch out for. As you heard in Malcolm Robertson's report, just because it might feel a bit breezy, it's still very important to cover up and wear a sun cap in the heat of the day and your sun cream, and let me assure you we have been doing that all day here on Anglia. But we've had a fantastic day, and there's more to Cromer than just the pier and of course the famous Pavilion Theatre behind me. More about that later. Lots more to Cromer, as I say, and Angie Clegg's been looking at some of the highlights nearby.
Well, we're starting off this week's look around in Cromer, famous of course for its pier and its crabs.
Look at it, sunshine, sea, sand, everyone's pleasant, apart from me.
Oh, don't believe a word of it. Richard Davis is a really nice fella. These boats go out at 4 AM and today was a record catch.
Well, we've seen how the professionals do it, and Letty here is going to show me how we can catch some crabs of our own. Okay, so maybe I'll leave it to Richard and his crew. Of course, it was the glorious age of steam that brought visitors to North Norfolk. Here, you can take a step back through time at the North Norfolk Railway.
It's a great way to see what North Norfolk has to offer, but it's even better in the driver's seat. And as always, I had to have a go myself.
And after you've finished your trip on the tracks, why not come down here to Sheringham Beach? Now, in between Cromer and Sheringham, there's still a wealth of things to do, like come and hang out with these chaps at the Shire Horse Centre. And you can always lose yourself in the Priory Maze Gardens. So whatever it is that you're into this summer, you're bound to find something that floats your boat.
Looked like Angie was having loads of fun there. You now join me though at the lifeboat centre where they're just about to launch one of the lifeboats. Now we're going to get somebody to tell you a little bit more about that in a minute, but I'm hoping that any moment from behind us the boat is about to emerge and you'll see how amazing it is once these guys, these very brave guys, here it goes, launch the boat. I'm going to move out the way so you can see it now. Absolutely fantastic sight. Now I'm joined now by Richard Leeds. Richard, amazing stuff. How often do you do this?
We do it usually about twice a month on exercise, and this is a special exercise for an inspector who's here today to make sure we're doing the right thing at the right time.
So at the moment no lives in danger, fortunately.
Not today, no, it's been a lovely day for us.
What is it like when the weather's as nice as this? It must be, in a way, a fantastic job being responsible for the public like this.
It's a great responsibility, but as long as the people look after themselves and look after the inflatables they've got with them and they're tethered properly, then there's no trouble to us. If there's any problem, obviously we're there all the time, 24 hours a day.
So are inflatables your biggest problem, would you say?
Yeah, especially in this wind today, yeah, which is the biggest problem.
How often do you get called out, and what sort of things? Are the people just drifting away out to sea?
Just in the summertime, mainly the coastal patch is quite busy. Occasionally we have had some call-outs in the last few weeks to yachts in danger off the coast, about 20 miles, yeah.
OK, Richard, thanks very much indeed. Fantastic pictures, I hope you'll agree. Now, though, back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Kate. Certainly do agree. That's not something you see every day, is it?
It's very graceful as it went down the slope.
It certainly was. I have to say, though, we keep saying what lovely things there are to do in the sun. It's not much fun sitting here watching it.
No, never mind. Mind you, there's always the weekend, and I have to say, the word on the street is, or the word on the weather desk is, that it's going to be just as nice on Saturday, if not even hotter.
Oh, well, that's good news, isn't it? Well, we'll have more from Kate recording later in the programme, and we've got stars in our eyes, too.
Yes. Tonight, she's going to be, well, can you tell? We'll show you what happened when auditions for a touring version of the hit TV show arrived in Ipswich. First, though, some of the day's news in brief, and police say they're growing increasingly concerned about a 16-year-old girl who's been missing from home in Thetford for a week. Sam Watling is believed to have left voluntarily with a 30-year-old man called Dermot Carrick, who's sometimes known as Jones. It's thought the pair are in the Lowestoft area and they're possibly planning to head for Ireland.
The death of a man in a fire at his home in Essex is no longer being treated as suspicious. A post-mortem examination has shown that the unnamed 43-year-old died from smoke inhalation. A milkman alerted firefighters to the blaze at Laindon near Basildon. Investigations are continuing.
A row could be brewing over access to Mersey Island in Essex. The Strood Causeway linking West Mersey to the mainland gets flooded at high tide. Islanders like their way of life and they don't want a permanent link. But emergency services say unless the level of the causeway is raised, they may struggle to get to the island.
3 days and counting for the start of the new football season. Well, we continue our countdown tonight, focusing on Ipswich Town.
Well, not just league action to look forward to. England, maybe. David Beckham too are heading for Portman Road as well. This report now from Donovan Blake.
On the waterfront, new surroundings for Ipswich defender Drissa Diallo. The Guinea international was raised in France where he started playing football. His career has since taken him to Belgium and now England. And Diallo admits he's still finding his feet in Ipswich.
Just came 3 weeks ago, and after 1 week we went to pre-season tour in Scandinavia, and then just came last week, and now we are in the preparation for the start of the season. I didn't really have time to visit the town, but I look forward to visit the town.
Having been released by cash-strapped Belgian club Mechelen, he joined the Blues in the summer, following a 3-month spell at Burnley.
Ipswich and Mechelen, there are not a lot of difference because it's similar town, but a lot of difference with the football, you know, because the atmosphere in the English football, the passion, it's more passion in England.
Diallo's arrival was a significant one, Joe Royle's first full signing since Ipswich's exit from administration. He's since been joined by veteran defender George Santos and goalkeeper Kelvin Davis.
We've got what we want, delighted. We're bringing players in again, we're a football club again, we're not a financial entity who just ships players out, so it's good news all round.
There's also a new leader on the pitch, in former Northern Ireland international Jim Magilton. However, there have been some major departures from Portman Road since last season, not least Matt Holland, skipper for 5 years, an inspiration to players and fans alike, sold to Premiership side Charlton. More recently, Italian keeper Matteo Serrani has moved to Lazio, and Danish defender Thomas Gardso has joined West Bromwich Albion. And among several players released or granted free transfers, goalkeepers Andy Marshall and James Pullen. But just like former Ipswich managers, Joe Royle is prepared to give youth a chance, and we could see several graduates from the Ipswich Academy featuring in the first team squad this coming season. The promise of exciting times ahead then for Ipswich, and not just for the club, with England due to play their first senior international there later this month. And the prospect of Beckham mania at Portman Road. The England captain, seen here scoring his first goal for his new club Real Madrid, says he's keen to play in the game against Croatia in what would be his first international since leaving Manchester United for Spain. But back to Ipswich Town's prospects, and 2 long-time supporters are looking forward to the season with relish after 2 difficult campaigns.
I still think despite the sale of the players that we have sold, we can still get promotion, providing we have stability at the club and everybody's moving together in the same direction.
The pundits have written us off already, which is great. I think that we'll do it straight away. Straight through, top 2, here we go.
Scoring goals was Town's strength last season and should continue to be. And if the reinforcements in defence prove to be as strong as Royal demands, Diallo and co could well meet the fans' expectations. Donovan Blake, Anglia News, Ipswich.
David Beckham at Portman Road, fantastic. Well, I don't know about you, but just thinking about playing football brings me out of the sweat in this hot weather.
Really, Hannah? It would be nice to be beside the sea, wouldn't it? That's just where Becky Manton is. She's enjoying the sea breeze at Cromer. Hi, Becky.
Hello, well, it's a hard job, isn't it? But someone's got to do it. It's absolutely glorious here today. Loads and loads of ice creams and some really good temperatures as well. In fact, there are many people who don't enjoy these really high temperatures, and this is where you should be because it's significantly cooler here on the coast. Quite a blustery sea breeze, as you can see, but I'm not really too worried about the old hair at the moment. And if we have a look at the forecast temperatures, we can see that we're really quite some way off from the records there. We've got the UK record, 37.1 Celsius, 98.8 in Fahrenheit. Now the East of England record is 36.5 Celsius, and that is 97.7 in Fahrenheit. We had a high today of 35.7, and that is not too bad at all. We've got that's in Cambridge, really not too bad at all. Very, very hot indeed. That's the second highest temperature recorded across the UK today. But they're really, really beautiful conditions. But don't worry if you're at work, because there really are some loads more sunshine on the way. It's quite difficult to hear anything here today, and I'm distracted by the sunshine. Also, some rather gorgeous specimens behind me as things are hotting up here. We're going to have plenty more sunshine on the way. So don't forget, if you want to see the lovely temperatures, come here to the coast. It's not too hot, but it really is quite lovely. But of course, while I'm enjoying the beach and all its lovely attractions, you can probably see that Kate is in the theatre. Have a look at that.
I am indeed, Becky. As you can see, I'm the centre of attention. Not that I like it that way, of course, and just a bit of magic for you. Ah, yes, I thought you'd like that. Bit of theatre and drama for you. Now, I'm going to run out because I want to take you back outside, because this is what it's all about. The end of pier show is extremely important to people in Cromer. I'm going to go this way with my cameraman, Dave. I'm just going to take you outside. Of course, the end of pier show, hugely important here, but I've been lucky enough to be taking a behind-the-scenes look at what's involved in the life of showbiz. This is what you'll see front of house. Glitz, glamour and a polished performance. But what's life really like for the Cromer cast?
Good morning.
For Abby Kate from Staffordshire, the day starts with a morning coffee with Barbara, her landlady for the summer season. Next, time to stock up on groceries. But let me tell you, you don't get a dancer's figure overnight. This was a very healthy shopping basket. And just before lunch, a swim with her friends from the show at the local health club. Abby dislocated her hip 2 weeks ago, and so a bit of exercise has been vital for her recovery, so she could be back on stage quickly. When there's not a matinee, the cast often meet on the pier for some lunch and a chat. Abby has performed for most of her life. The biggest moment so far was performing with Kylie Minogue. The dancing is something she's always wanted to do.
I watched Dirty Dancing when I was little, and I wanted to be Baby with Patrick Swayze. They're all laughing at me. I'm going to be honest. That was my reason.
Abby has performed all over the country, but Cromer is a bit special.
I think it's just the fact that it's one of the most traditional theatres in the whole country, and with such beautiful beaches, you know, views are just lovely, and everywhere's just so relaxed, so it's a complete difference, you know, from London, Birmingham, you know, it's just relaxing. It's more like a little holiday with the odd working hours when I'm performing, so it's lovely. It's a lovely theatre.
Abby admits missing her family, her cats and boyfriend, but the call of the boards is strong, and she offered to show me backstage.
We've got Annie, which is very oldie. Lovely swing, we do a lovely tap number, love that one. Grease costume.
And then there's the accessories, and of course the grease paint. And after a quick warm-up and rehearsal, it was time for the crowds to arrive.
Well, here in the dressing room there's just 15 minutes until curtain up, and as you can see, the excitement's mounting and the last minute adjustments are being made.
And then they were off. From the wings we got a real sense of the backstage drama.
It was really good.
But front of house we could see straight away that all the hard work had paid off, and just why people flocked to the Cromer End of Pier show year after year.
Well, we thought it would be a good idea to bring some of that showbiz out onto the pier. I'm joined by
Kevin,
and your friend John's showing Becky some of the moves. If they could just take a quick look. They're doing it pretty successfully, I have to say. We're going to do a bit of salsa, aren't we, John? Show me what's involved.
Okay, simple salsa. Go back on your right leg.
Yep.
Go 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And repeat that again.
Okay.
1 and 2, 3 and 4.
Oh, now that's not bad. I'm going to practice that while I go and talk to Leo, because I quickly want to fit this in as well. Leo, you're also involved in the show, aren't you?
Indeed.
Can you show me some of what you can do?
Well, certainly. On foggy days, they put me on the end of the pier with these. And there again, this is British, so we thought we have the British fanfare trumpet. Because it is British seaside entertainment.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Lou. Great stuff. He's got loads of instruments, and believe me, you see quite a lot of them in action at the show. How are you two getting on?
I need an awful lot more practice. Not only have I got 2 left feet, I think I've got 3 left feet, which is not terribly good.
What's she like as a dance partner?
Hire me?
Yeah, you'd be alright.
Excellent bribery to get you anywhere.
Well, I think it's time we girls actually started to do a bit more practice. The salsa perhaps isn't quite my dance. I don't know about you, Becky.
I don't think so.
So I think we'll get the
wedding dance.
Okay, we're going to get the Greek wedding dance underway. Becky and I are going to strut our stuff. Hopefully it won't be too embarrassing, and I hope you can enjoy it. Back to you in the studio. Have a nice evening from us here in Cromer.
Okay, thank you, girls. Cool, that game, aren't they? I think.
I'm back on work.
Okay. I think we need to tell Becky to leave those men alone.
Now then, changing the subject, Shirley Temple, Celine Dion, Faith Hill, an incredible galaxy of stars in action at the Regent Theatre in Ipswich today.
All right, not the real thing, but a lineup of youngsters all hoping to hit the big time in a new stage version of the hit TV show Stars in Their Eyes. Simon Newton dropped in on the auditions.
Meet little Amy Wallace, normally an 8-year-old Felixstowe schoolgirl, but today, Matthew, Shirley Temple. The Stars in Their Eyes stage show features past winners from the television programme, plus some of the best contestants from the past 10 years. 3 local youngsters will perform on stage at each show nationwide, with the winner at each venue going forward to audition for the next Stars in Their Eyes Kids TV series. Today there was Sudbury's answer to Christina Aguilera.
You're delirious, songs and songs.
Clacton's very own Faith Hill. And even a 10-year-old Avril Lavigne, aka Emily Double from Ipswich.
Can I make it any more obvious? She wants to punk, she ballet. What more can I say?
Today the judges listened to more than 100 under-16s before whittling them down to 8 finalists. And while nerves got the better of some,
You don't have to be afraid of what you are.
others like 14-year-old Sydney Spooner from Harwich mixed a dash of Celine Dion with a touch of Sandy Shaw. Time then for the judges' final decision, and not a pair of Simon Cowell's high-waisted trousers in sight.
Gone are Amy Alexander Wallace, who's doing Shirley Temple, Sidonia Spooner, who's doing Celine Dion, and Susie Bradwell, who's doing Faith Hill. Now, thank you all so much.
It's the first singing audition that she's done. Yeah, so it's quite a new venture.
Just shocked. I can't think of no other words. No other words to describe it. I'm shocked and I'm getting all emotional.
Even the judges seemed impressed.
Here in Ipswich, as people will hopefully see on the stage show, they will see 3 kids, and every time they're going to say, he should be a star, she should be a star, she should. They are terrific, and hopefully they will be stars.
The next curtain call for Amy, Susie and Sydney is here at the Regent on October the 25th. And like the television programme, the audience that come here to watch the live show will be able to vote using a special keypad. They'll be able to pick which songs they want their favourite stars to sing and which of them they want to see duet. All 3 girls will be hoping they can match the success of Norwich teenager Lucy Moppet, who made the last Stars in Their Eyes Kids live final as Kylie Minogue. Today, though, it was time to dream and, in true Shirley Temple style, have a giggle. Simon Newton, Anglia News, Ipswich.
Lovely stuff, eh?
Well, for our last word tonight, it's back to the heat.
And if it wasn't hot enough already, some people are advising us to switch on our central heating. Believe it or not, warming up your radiators may be the last thing on your mind now, but experts at British Gas say it's time to fire up your boiler to make sure it works before the weather turns colder. They say it's best to check your system now so it doesn't break down when you really need it.
Well, I don't know about you, Claire, but I'd rather be in Cromer.
Oh, yes, definitely, me too. That's it from us tonight. Good night.
Good night.
coming to the rescue of animals in need.
Kieran managed to catch all 5 seals.
To give some tender, loving care.
We've been very successful with this one.
And get them back on their feet.
She's a very, very lucky swan.
Animal Tales, Thursday, 7:30 on Anglia.
With BT broadband in your home, the internet is brought to life, making education a lot more fun. To connect for free and get 1 month's free rental, call 0800 800 060.
Now, RAC give you even more of a helping hand. With new RAC solutions, you could build up a no-call-out discount of up to 50%. And they also offer a free 28-point car check to help you avoid breaking down in the first place. Want to be looked after all the time, not just when you break down? Call 0800 77 0099 or visit rac.co.uk. RAC, a helping hand that's always there.
Well, as temperatures continue to soar right across the UK, we've taken tonight's Anglia weather forecast to the coast where it's refreshingly cooler. Sea breezes here are keeping temperatures back to around 24, 25 or 26 Celsius, but even then that's well above average for this time of year. Let's have a look at tonight's satellite picture then, and as you can see we've got clear skies for most of the UK and so lovely hot summery conditions all round. And onto the pressure chart, and as you can see high pressure rules the roost. That's keeping things lovely and settled and allowing those temperatures to absolutely soar, those lovely mild east to southeasterly winds as well. So here's the detail then on this regional charts for this evening, and as you can see for most of us it's a lovely summery evening, perfect barbecue weather, just a little bit more cloudy in places, but for most continuing fine. And for tonight, continuing dry and settled, but really quite a hot and sticky sort of night. Temperatures somewhere between 16 and 19 Celsius. That's not far off what we would usually expect to see as a daytime temperature in August. Now for tomorrow morning, quite a misty sort of start for most of us here in the Anglia region, but that mist will slowly burn back towards the coast to leave plenty of sunshine inland tomorrow afternoon, and it's going to be another scorcher, I'm afraid. Temperatures somewhere around the 32, 33 degree mark, and that's into the low to mid 90s. And so on to the 5-day forecast then. As you can see, one area of high pressure replaces another. That's going to give us a continuation of the lovely summery conditions, temperatures hovering around 30 degrees. Enjoy it while it lasts. Good evening from all of us here in Cromer.
I'm a miserable cow first thing in the morning until I switch on my TV and I see Eamon and Fiona. You know exactly what you're getting with them two, don't you? It feels like you're going to have a little chat with your mates, and by the time you get out of there, you'd be surprised how many people have been up at 7 or 8 watching GMTV. Saw you this morning.
Have you got what it takes?
I'm very good at spending money.
Waiter! Have some caviar, please.
Young, posh and loaded. Thursday, 10:30, ITV1.
You're watching ITV1 at 6:30. Now the news.
Extreme temperatures as Britain feels the full force of global warming.
They are a sort of a wake-up call, if you want, of what might happen in the future.
Heat exhaustion, thousands caught in the traffic jam from hell. Some relief for the Omer families as real IRA leader is sentenced. And moving scenes at the funeral of Dr. David Kelly. Good evening as Britain bakes on the hottest day of the year. Well, they've been monitoring all day here at the Met Office headquarters in Bracknell in Berkshire, the operational centre for weather forecasting in this country. Today was the hottest day of the year, but with the heat came a worrying prediction. Global warming, with all its extremes, is here to stay. So, the figures then. The top temperature today was 35.9 Celsius, that's 96.6 Fahrenheit. We'll tell you exactly where it was in just a moment. That's just short, though, of the record set in 1990 when Cheltenham recorded 37.1 or 98.8 in Fahrenheit. Nevertheless, the anticipation here was rising with the temperatures.
It has been really very hot across many parts of the southeast.
Mid-afternoon in the operations centre of the Met Office, and Britain is turning red. In some places, redder than ever before.
That is red hot. That is certainly mid to upper 30 Celsius, and as I say, 36 coming in now is pretty unusual for this country.
The sweltering heat today is fun. Of course it's fun, but it also signals danger ahead. It's Simon Brown's job to predict climate change, and as this century unfolds, look what happens to the world. Today could be the future.
These sort of extreme events are what we expect under global warming. So they are a sort of a wake-up call, if you want, of what might happen in the future.
It's all about extremes of weather, and such extremes in this country are becoming more common by the year, it seems. Heavy rainfall and consequent flooding have become an annual ordeal for many. Yet the country is still ill-prepared for that, and now also for the heat wave. Carbon dioxide emissions are to blame for all this, say scientists, and the message is clear. Our climate is changing, so we'd better start changing too.
We are predicting that these sort of events will happen more frequently and be more severe in the future. So if we can't cope with what's happening today, then we need to adapt.
And words of warning there from a man predicting the future of our climate. There was no escape from the heat today for thousands of drivers when they got trapped in a traffic jam in the hottest part of the day. It was caused by a crash on the M42 in the West Midlands. Mark Goff of Central News is there. Mark.
Well, still a long crawl home in the heat for some this evening. Not all quite right on the M42. 4 hours ago that accident happened. Let me just show you the pictures there. It was just after 2 o'clock when the accident happened. That white lorry was coming towards us, as it were, crashed into that yellow lorry on the right-hand side, which is actually a maintenance truck, which was stationary with all its amber lights and arrows flashing. The consequence was we had 4 miles of tailbacks, and the heat got to many, particularly to this gentleman who was stretchered off to hospital. 2 other people were also stretchered off to hospital. One old woman, again too ill to walk, she was taken off in a wheelchair. So what could police do? They were so concerned that they might have dozens of people falling with heat exhaustion. They contacted the local water company, Severn Trent Water, and the WRVS, the Women's Royal Voluntary Service, and the Salvation Army, to ask them to bring as much water as possible to the crash scene. Unfortunately, because the crash caused so much traffic chaos around here, they couldn't get to the scene in time, but luckily the police did manage to move the tailback on.
OK, Mark, thanks very much indeed for joining us. The heat wave has already been blamed for 2 deaths. One teenage boy drowned, cooling off in a lake in Hampshire, and another in a canal in Rotherham. The heat is also taking its toll on people's health. Our medical editor, Lawrence McGinty, is at an A&E department at a hospital in Margate. Lawrence.
You know, Mark, how people sometimes say this heat is blistering. Well, sadly, sometimes that can be literally true. As we've seen today here in the A&E department of the Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother Hospital in Margate, the sun can cause very real distress and pain. It may not have been a record, but 93 degrees was quite enough for most sunbathers on Margate Beach. And most of them were doing the right thing. Plenty of sunblock, especially for the kids. Plenty of soft drinks to stop dehydration. And plenty of hats. Just what the government doctors recommended. But 93 degrees was not without casualties at the Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother Hospital, especially among the elderly. 76-year-old Iris Capel told me she passed out with heat exhaustion in her local supermarket.
I felt dizzy and hot.